Well, we're back again. All the parts came in. I got a little bit overzealous about getting this car back together for the owner. So in the dark, unable to record what I was doing, I started reassembling the car as quickly as I could. And where we're at right now is we've got the subframe all bolted in. We're going to have to lower it back down to hook up the steering column. We've got our nuts on the ends of the steering rack. The steering rack is all bolted down into the subframe prior to putting the subframe back in the car. That's the important part, that the subframe and the rack is a single unit out of the car, reassembled first. The entire order of operation was all wrong with this disassembly. So basically what I recommend is, if you're going to be replacing the rack in this vehicle, take your death bolt, your pinch bolt, then your steering column out. Disconnect your power steering hoses, disconnect your oxygen sensors, disconnect the exhaust system from the engine, lower that down, and then remove the entire subframe as a complete unit, and then remove the steering rack from the subframe once the subframe is out of the vehicle, and then reverse to reinstall. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be going through here and retightening all of the bolts. We're going to have to install the ball joint into the bottom of the knuckles on both sides, the outer tie rod ends. I've got to lower the rack on the driver's side back down a little bit so that I can get it hooked back up to the column. We've used the scan tool to verify that we are at the center position in the steering. So let's get under here and start picking up where we left off. Now, with the subframe lowered down a little bit, we can get up in here and grab the steering column. We're going to put it on the steering rack. There's the little indent on the steering rack that's got to line up with the slot in the column. We've made sure that the column is straight, and we're going to slide this down on here just a little bit, and then we're going to turn the steering wheel to make sure that the dimple lines up with the groove. Right about there. Oh, steering column locked. Let's see if we are with the dimple. No, we missed by a little bit, so we're going to have to turn that back again. The steering wheel recentered again. And then let's get down here and try it one more time and get this right on those neat little marks. Alright, now we can turn the rack. And we're pretty close. I got probably one more tooth. We're still off by one tooth. Still, wow, this is being really stubborn. There we go. Now I'll work it all the way down. We're still off by a hair. Let's try again. There, we got it that time. Yay! Alright, let's go get that pinch bolt, put that in there. Now we're going to take the death bolt, put a little drop of blue thread locker on there. And then we're going to take this bolt right here, and we're going to go up in here. We're going to put it in that column. We need to turn it just a hair so that we can get to where the bolt goes in, and it's lined up straight for out here. Go ahead and put that bolt in. That bolt should go all the way across the little cutaway in the input shaft of the rack to lock it in place. And go ahead and snug that down. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're just going to run that bolt in by hand. We're not going to be tightening this up because we are going to have to finish bringing this rack all the way back up and get it secured in place, and then we can go back and tighten up the death bolt and get everything in a nice relaxed position so there's no binding in the steering wheel. Top bolts in here. Hey, that did my wrench wonders. Well, at least I didn't destroy the tip. Now let's get these ball joints changed. We did one of them already. Got grease all over my fingers. Yay. Alright, now we gotta get this old ball joint out of here. Got a little wear in it, no harm. Now, this is a 15mm bolt, believe it or not. And yeah, there's so much rust I actually have to pound the hammer onto it. There we go. Let's not make a hole in the boot. Yeah, there we go. Alright, impact. Where is my impact? It's starting to move. Now, I didn't have a 15 for this. God dang it. Oh well. Let's do this manually then, I guess. Stay out of the dirt. guys are gonna freak out about this. We're only going far enough just to get this to loosen. Wow, it worked on the other one. I don't know why it won't stay in there. There we go. Now I got this thing loose enough to move. And of course the chisel's got to jump back out on me. Get all the crap that's in there out of there. Now let's see, where's the... Try to get it so the cotter pin is straight back and forth. Pull that out, and now that ball joint's just about jammed right in there. Let's go ahead and put our bolt back in. I've got a 15. I'm not doing this manual. Got that right there. Wrench. Alright, now we get to put the axle back in the car. Get that straight. Nut off of it. Make sure your cotter pin hole's facing straight forward and backwards so you can get easy access to it. Go ahead and spin the nut on. And we'll get that good and tight. Why is it never the socket that I grab? Where? Seriously? I swear to God, I lose everything every time I turn around. Where did my 19mm socket go? There it is. Wow. I need a tool cart. let's get that hole lined up with the cotter pin. That's not going to work. Can't even find the cotter pin hole. I think I found it. I still got to go just a smidgen more. There we go. Just a smidgen more. Alright. Now I get to put the suspension back together. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then we'll do the alignment later.
Oh yeah.
And of course, it's got to start raining. So we're closing this one up for this part. And we'll get back when we're putting the wheels back on it. Now once you've replaced all of your inner panel fasteners, gotten your ABS hooked back up, getting your brake line secured back in place, getting all of the brake assembly and rotor and all of that reassembled. You've double checked everything on this side to make sure everything's torqued down properly. Your power steering hoses are tight, the brackets are tight, the clamps are tight, the hold downs for the rack are tight. All of the subframe bolts are in and tight. Let's see what else we got over here. Axles all the way in and parked. It's in a locked position. All the subframe bolts in here are all tight, so we're all good on this side. Let's get the wheel back on. The only thing we have left to do is alignment and flushing out the rack. So we've already lowered the vehicle down onto this control arm, got the vehicle level. I've torqued down the control arm bolts. You do not torque them down until the load of the vehicle is on it and you've gotten it back into its natural position. Because if your lower control arms are hanging down and you tighten them down, when you lower the vehicle and it brings the control arms up, it loads your bushings. And then when you go over a bump and you push the control arms up, it tears your bushings. So you want to make sure your bushings are in the center of their travel, and you do so by lowering the vehicle or putting the vehicle weight on the control arm before tightening it. And we've still got to do the other side. That one, the jack stand's not optimally positioned. So this side's all wrapped up. We can go ahead and torque these down. Get this side of the vehicle on the ground, and then we can get the other side all finished up. So as you guys can see, this job was a total bear. We went into this one completely unaware that the subframe needed to be completely removed. Again, no information available online about the process. I did get some people to respond to me about the build time, and they said that this job is typically about a 6.5 hour job. And all of this play right here, I'm hoping, is just that loose tie rod end. Yeah, I think it is. All right. Yeah, it's because we haven't tightened down the nut. That's all loose still for adjusting purposes. And I think the wheel's a little bit out. We'll have to bring it in a hair. Let's get the other side done. Now I got the jack stand where it'll sit in the right place and not fight with me. I just needed to make sure the jack stand didn't slide up the control arm. Nice and tight. Maybe. Come on, get on there and stay on there. Now we can go ahead, jack this back up, put the wheel back on it. Yeah, let's double check. So everything there's tight. Those are tightened up and torqued. These are tight and torqued. Those are tight and torqued. That just got done. This is all set. And all we've got to do now is fasteners, alignment, and flush the rack. Let's get this wheel back on. What the heck? there you have it. 2012 Outback power steering rack. Subframe's got to come out in its entirety first. If you guys found this one helpful, entertaining, useful in any way, shape, or form, feel free to comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for upcoming videos. And don't forget, you got no more excuses. Pick up those wrenches. Just a little bit of bonus material. I can't believe how close that alignment actually is to start with. That one, and then this one right here. We gotta come out just here. Being that this poor little Subaru still needs a front wheel bearing and it needs an alignment, and the alignment won't come until after the wheel bearing is replaced, because that doesn't make sense. We're going to do a quick string alignment. You take the string, tie it off just below the axle point so you're not hitting trim on the car. You want to go sidewall to sidewall. The rim is more accurate, but sidewall we're going to trust that these tires are straight. So you got string around the jack stand so that it's up against the tire, and then we basically just walk the string down the front of the car and come to the front tire, hold the string right against the tire, get you a little bit of shadow here, and then look at the space in the back, and it tells me right there that we need to adjust this for a little bit of toe out, or actually no, correction, toe in order to get this wheel straight. And we'll real quick check the other side. I didn't have my spare jack stand, so I just tied off the string on the tire, and then we'll come over here, right here like this, bring the string right up against the tire, just below where it makes contact with the trim, hold it against the tire, and we've got a little bit of a space right there, so we're going to bring this tire in just a hair also. So for an eyeball, just to reassembling the rack and turning the tie rod ends on about 12 turns each, this is where we got it. So we're going to finish tweaking this and then send the customer on his way. Always keep coming back, making sure that that steering wheel is straight. Every adjustment that you make, tweak that steering wheel just ever so slightly, a little bit past, and then bring it back. A little bit past, and then bring it back. Get it centered, come back down, check the string again, right below the trim, across the rim, make contact with the front of the tire, we're making contact with the back of the tire. Do we come off the tire at the same time? No, we're touching about 1 millimeter in the back before the front, so I went just a little bit too far, but we're going to check the other side just in case, because every time you adjust one side, the other side's going to take a little bit of a walk on you. And I think this one here went toe out further. Yeah, probably just a hair bit further, so got to bring that one back just a bit. Let's go back and check again. we've got the tie rod ends adjusted. Get in here and get this nut snugged into its home. Same thing on the other side. Alright, now just to make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be again, we grab the string, and down here just below the trim, up against the tire here in the front, it's up against the tire in the back, and if I bring it off the front of the tire, it comes off the tire about 1 millimeter, half a millimeter before it does in the back. And then back here on the driver's side, exact same thing. It's below where the molding on the side of the car is, up against the tire. You catch the side of the tire right about half a millimeter before the front of the tire. So we'll call this alignment set. Steering wheel is still straight. So we're ready to lock it down and call it ready for the road. I'm gonna